Okay.
So you're going to
This way, Jalen, for you, this will show for your community service. Proof of attendance that you're here. I'm guessing since you didn't have anything to sign. Should I take a picture of it? You want me to be in it? So I can no, just don't do
This
it.
is her history.
No, I know, don't.
You look good.
No,
Okay.
stop.
We might just sign that too. Your name tag's on next to yours.
Perfect.
Actually, my character.
Hey, Dean.
How was it today? Was it a good practice?
It was.
Can you hear us okay or not? Can you hear me now? I hear you over there.
40 hours. Yeah, she
You can hear him.
Dean, can you hear us or not? Okay.
Well, that's awesome.
Rotate the camera. I'll get that, yeah.
That's what it
Dean, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is 5:30, call to order this regular meeting of the Rushford Peterson School Board. It's Monday, October 15th, 2018. We're in the former room of the Rushford Peterson School. Dr. Miro is joining us from South Dakota, somewhere, where you at? Rushmore, Brandon, South Dakota? All right. Welcome, everyone. We have a roll call, please.
Valerie Howe.
Here.
Kathy Ingram. Here. Joyce Iverson. Here. John Linder.
Here.
Dean Nero.
Here.
John Pettit.
Here.
Bonnie Princeton. Here. Abby Hay. Here.
Thank you. Please join me for a pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Item 4 will be the adoption of the agenda. We have a couple of additions. First addition is would be 6. F2, the resignation of Mr. Adam George, assistant wrestling coach. And in new business, item 8, D, number would authorize Superintendent Ayler to purchase a truck to replace the Ford Ranger that we have no longer in service. The purchase price not to exceed $15,000 before tax, title, and license. Okay, anybody have any questions or anything on the consent agenda that you wish to pull out? Not look for a motion to approve. But is there a second? Iverson. All those in favor of the consent agenda as amended, signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to item 5, public comments. Heard, limited to 5 minutes per person. Do you have anyone who wishes to address the board? Okay. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda, we have item A, the October 1st, 2018 special meeting minutes. Item B, September 17th, 2018 regular monthly meeting minutes. Item C, September hand payables, wires, and payroll liabilities in the amount of $276,819.92. D, September payroll in the amount of $260,251.22. E, October board bills in the amount of $216,113.55. And in F, personnel, we have number 1, the hire of Abby Engler, elementary special ed paraprofessional. And item 2, the resignation of Mr. Adam George, assistant wrestling coach. Any comments, concerns, questions?
Mr. Chair, I just have a question about some payments towards the end of page 1, item C, towards the end of page 1, and then page 2 to 3 for some young men and some citizens, not employees. Just wondering what those payments were for. So I'm guessing it was for some work on site.
What page are you on?
It would be on item number C, the September H payments.
So what, which,
Okay, so names such as Marshall Barron's, Tim Vance, Jared Wilson, and then on page 2 starts with Janelle Ansel, Sarah Barrow. Just wondering what those.
Well, Marshall Behrens would be one of the officials, so I don't know why he's listed there, and Sarah Bierbauer, I think that's a refund, if I'm correctly right,
Yeah, because of the lunch refunds.
lunch refund.
Okay, yeah, okay. So we-
No more kids in school, so that makes
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
Sure.
I have a couple more questions.
Sure.
McGraw-Hill Corporation,
What's that?
the McGraw-Hill.
McGraw-Hill, yes, yeah. That's a new math series.
Oh,
I'm sorry. There is one in there for the Alex Corporation that we use. That's an online math tutorial program. So, yeah.
anything else? Look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Just want to make that.
Everson? Second?
I'll second.
Second by Hal. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving on to item 7, old business. Item A, a superintendent hiring process update. We have a couple of options here, MSBA options, as well as a couple other individuals that may be interested.
Correct. If you recall from the last meeting, I mentioned to you that there were two, one is retired and one is currently serving as a superintendent, but they have their own business in which they come out and work with school districts. Their fee would be $4,500, and then MSBA, Laura, did some research with them and is bringing forth with you some suggestions, and they could come down and work with you for approximately just under $1,000 to assist the board with that. So, but reaching out to other school districts, a lot of them said that if you followed some of the basic guidelines that you followed on your previous hire, that you shouldn't have any issues with it. They were not supportive of going out and hiring the firms at somewhere in the neighborhood, anywhere between $7,500 to $10,000. Some districts expended some dollars for that, and we're not supportive of
that recommendation for you as a board as well, so. You have to entertain any questions you have about some of the items that MSBA, they would just come in and give you some do's and don'ts, and you can choose on how extensive you want MSBA to be involved.
I don't know about the rest of it. It seems to me several of us brought up the idea of looking at MSBA, asking what they had. And for me, I wasn't looking to spend money with them at all or hire them. I was just wondering if they had some free guidelines, a recommended procedure, because I know what we were doing is taking what the search used last time, but that's quite a few years ago, and I just wondered if there was some standard somewhere that we could access without having to pay money that just said yes, as far as like the makeup of the committee and timeline, and maybe that's not available. But I guess that's what I meant. I didn't mean like we should spend money on it. This is really interesting, all the a la carte services, but I don't know. I wouldn't be in favor of that.
I just wonder if they have any, we pay, association dues, and
Right,
I would think they would have something available, but something bare minimum.
The emails I get always say, remember to ask us if there's anything you need. We have all these resources, and I guess I thought maybe we could tap into a resource without paying for it.
I thought that there was something, but I've taken a few years since I've taken trainings.
I don't know if maybe some of us as individual board members should contact them and ask if they have any guidelines in those services that they provide to us, or.
I know in one of the additional board training sessions we went through, there is a book, and there is a chapter in there about how to hire a superintendent.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on the website.
Right. So I don't know how much information is in there. I haven't looked into it for a few years, but. So I like the timeline that you have provided last time. And then we had some discussion about the selection committee. So we'll probably need to zero in on that.
Okay?
Does everyone still have their copy of this? That was given out at the last meeting.
I don't know if we all have a copy of it, but what's first on the,
The first item is to, by November 26th, mail out flyers and post the position. And then January 11th, applications are due to the district office. January 14th to 25th, review applicants, 3 to 5 finalists. February 4 to 15, conduct interviews. February 18 to 28, committee finalizes their choice. Option, make school and community visits. March 4th through 8th, second interview if needed. March 11th through 15, finalize the recommendation for school board. And March 18th, board approves hiring. And then there were suggested possibilities for the selection committee. And I think there were some thoughts maybe to involve the entire school board, which would be special meetings. So those have to be public meetings or?
what are your thoughts on moving forward? We don't have to go with the MSBA options, obviously, or the other folks. We can do this on our own, but it'd probably take a little research to see where we're
Is there a required format for the advertising position?
Generally, there is, yeah. So we would follow the typical, yeah. So we can get you samples of those, okay?
Because we want to pretty much finalize our process by our next meeting. Stay on that timeline.
We can have that ready for you.
So then we would wait until the next meeting to really finalize that. Maybe.
Yeah, you have time to work out the committee, so we could give you some additional time to process that.
I did talk to the superintendent he's a new one at Lanesboro, and he said all the school board members were on there, maybe a couple teachers, admin people, but he said it was not really large, it was smaller, and he really appreciated that. And we talked about community people, and the board voted, the school board themselves are community people. Just, what we talked about.
Somebody said that at the last meeting too, that we are elected by the community, so we are community members.
But would it be open meetings and anyone can come?
Okay, anybody have any other thoughts on the hiring process?
So we should come to the next meeting with firmer ideas about the process and then make a vote committee.
Maybe each of us do our own research on the MSBA. Started checking on the website, and most of us went to trainings.
That's a good idea, just get up to speed on what they've got. And you can still go with them if we decide we want to, but that, I don't have to decide that.
I guess I'm going to be forthcoming for you and saying that if you're interested in selecting MSBA, that you would move forward with making that decision this evening so that you could get them down here prior to your November board meeting, so that you would have a chance to gather some information or glean some information from them. So I will press you a little bit on that time frame. If there's a desire on your part to go with MSBA,
Or they're definitely a good resource, and just less than $1,000 is not a lot to pay for getting right.
Laura, can I impose on you for just a minute, because Laura is the one that did the majority of speaking with MSBA, but from your conversation with them, their suggestion was to come down and meet with the full board and have a working session with them, is that correct?
Yes, and I did mention, our next item is to reschedule a meeting that we had set for November 12th. It was brought to our attention that we cannot have a meeting on that day. So I did check with them, and they would be available that week. So if you wanted to canvass the results of the election and then have a representative from MSBA come down at the same time, and then we could have both of them down at the same time.
What you're talking about is that first, the $975. Okay, I found this whole thing a little confusing. How it sounds like for the bigger money, they would actually do the hiring for you, or that the first one is just kind of the advising session.
I'd be in favor of coming down if they would include that service in our dues. It's absolutely ridiculous to me to think that we would have to pay to have a representative come down here. All the other unions and associations that are dealing with the schools send their representatives continuously as a service and as a part of their dues. So if they want to come down and work with us, fine. Otherwise, I believe the board people should do their own research. In fact, with MSBA, and go on from there at the next meeting.
Wouldn't we be able to, as a member of MSBA, use their website for advertising and opening? Or is that included in this fee? I would think we could tap into that without paying for it. Okay?
I hope so, yeah.
I really think.
We can do some checking for that on the advertisement. Otherwise, we would go out on the site that we use for the hiring of teachers as well to utilize that service, and that's an online service as well. But we can certainly check with how MSBA proceeds with doing an advertisement with them. Selection committee.
I'm gonna say this, and I realize it's implied that I'm volunteering, but I wonder if one of us as a board member, since this is an organization for school board members, should contact them and say, what can you do for us? What do we get for our dues? Can you give us some, even if you can't come down here, then if you can point us to some resources? It seems like we are the constituents that are supposed to be serving, as John said, and we pay dues for them to do that. No? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I would,
Are you volunteering to?
Well, that's why I didn't want to say it. John looked kind of excited when I was saying that.
I'm always excited.
Were you excited because you wanted to volunteer with contact them?
Probably not.
Really?
You're really good at that.
I mean, you have that feisty attitude, but.
I don't know where you get that.
I will try to contact them
Sounds good.
and just ask as a board member what they can do.
Or I can give you the name and the phone number for it, Bonnie.
Okay, and then I'll send, if I find out anything, I'll send it to Laura probably, if she can disperse that. Since I'm not allowed to email to Laura.
that'd be good. Yeah, an idea of what they have to offer.
Right, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, anything else on the superintendent hiring process?
Lord, correct me if I'm wrong, but they come down and they actually do the brochure, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that $975?
No, not for the 975.
No, okay, then I'll withdraw my question, thank you.
Anything else? Moving on to item B, old business. Amend the motion made on August 20th this year to set November 12th as the date for the special meeting to canvass the results of the November school board election. November 12th apparently is the holiday. I think school will still be in session that day, but it's a federal holiday, so we cannot do a board meeting on that date, so.
With Veterans Day falling on Sunday, the Veterans Day observance is held on the following workday, which is Monday the 12th.
Is there anything going on the 16th, on Tuesday?
The 13th is a Tuesday?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, the 13th, yeah.
Nothing for that,
That'd be my suggestion, to do it on the 13th.
Okay.
Everybody have any problem with that, or we need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Iverson, to have it on the 13th at 5:30. Anybody wish to second that?
I'll second.
Everybody out? Okay, any other discussion on the meeting for the canvassing of the election results? All those in favor of the 13th of November at 5:30, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? 13th it is.
And then just kind of decide if it seems to make sense after Bonnie contacts the MSBA to have them come down and meet with us, could we make that an option for the 13th?
I think we could, if they're willing to do that.
Yeah, they're willing to come down to meet with us.
Just make that part of the agenda. Okay, moving on to new business. Item 8, review proposals and for snow removal for the 18-19 school year. I understand we had 2 proposals.
We did. Laura has taken the information and given it to you on a separate sheet there tonight, the proposals received. Last year, if you recall, we rented or leased a skid steer from Hummel Equipment, and the price on that was $5,000. And then we also hired Trevor Chose as the operator. And so our snow removal cost for last year was $61.29. And Atkinson Construction is giving you a quote this evening, and you can see the various prices there. So based on the Facilities Committee's recommendation this afternoon, we met at 4:30. We took the first 2 items, the 1 inch to approximately 5 inches of snow. We averaged those 2, and so we came out with an estimate of $450 per snow or snowfall, and last year we had 20 of those, so you can see that would average to about $9,000, and Hummel Equipment is willing to lease you, again, a skid steer in the amount of $5,000.
How much does a new skid steer cost? Do we have any idea?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of about $48,000.
Anybody have any questions, any comments on the proposals? I wish to make a motion.
I'll make the motion to go with Hummel Equipment
Motion by Iverson to go on.
and labor by Trevor Chose.
I'm just gonna second that.
Any further discussion on the snow removal proposals? Okay, all those in favor of going with the Hummel skid steer and Chose labor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That is, motion carries. Okay, moving on to item 8B, approve the notice of general election for the upcoming school board election. We have those proposals in our packet. I presume our legal team looked at these, Mr. Miller?
Correct.
Anybody have any questions on the notice for the general election? If not, we'll look for a motion to approve.
First, I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Iverson, second.
Iverson. All those in favor of approving the notice of general election for the upcoming school board election, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion carries. Next on new business, 8C, approve the notice of special election for the operating referendum. And that's in our packet. There are 2 separate questions. Again, our legal advisors going to look at this. Anybody have any questions on the referendum special election proposal wording?
I don't have one on the wording. I do have one about it, just what, we're going out early on this for 2020, correct?
Yes, the first payable tax on this is spring of 2020.
So does the next board have the authority, if this were to fail, to run it back in that particular year, since we're going out early, does it leave an extra window?
Yes, they would have the authority to go to seek a special election.
Any other comments on our special election operating referendum? Not, I look for a motion to approve the notice.
Iverson, make that motion.
Motion by Iverson. Second.
Ingram, second.
Second by Ingram. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the notice of special election for the operating referendum, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, next is going on to the superintendent's report, item D.
Well, before that, John, we changed item D to day E. So we did ask you to.
Oh, yeah, we've got, there is the issue of the purchase of a new vehicle. Currently, our Ford Ranger is no longer in service.
Correct. The district it was the owners of a 2000 Ford Ranger, and that has reached a point where the repairs are not advantageous for us to continue to attempt to do that. So we have been seeking a replacement for it, and I've been asked the board to allow me the latitude to seek out a replacement for that, to use that in assisting us with snow removal, because that particular unit that we had a blade mounted on it as well as a sanding unit for it as well. So those units would, we're hoping that they would fit the new unit as well, the new truck, or the replacement vehicle.
Is there any trade value in the Ranger?
No, we were able to secure $300 for it. Junk price.
Have you looked into what's available in the market?
We have, yes, and the prices range anywhere from, from $9,000 to about $15,000. So,
Approximately how old is like a 2 or 3 year old vehicle?
the one for just under 15 was 2011. Yeah. So that one has the most promise right now.
Does it look like our, the equipment we have will match up with it? Go with that one?
Yes.
Anybody have any thoughts on the purchase of a replacement truck?
Sounds like a new one.
Okay, anybody wish to move in that direction?
I'll make some motion.
Motion by Howell, is there a second?
Personal second.
Any further discussion on the purchase of a replacement truck? All those in favor of allowing Superintendent Ayler to move forward with the purchase not to exceed $15,000 for tax title and license? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Okay, now moving on to Superintendent's report, Mr. Ayler.
Yes, my report begins on page 24, and I will give you the most recent updates from this morning or this past weekend. The first thing I wish to share with you is just a note of congratulations to our National Honor Society members. The new inductions took place last night, and so Our new inductees were Chloe Bunky, Peyton Hoynes, Abby Malone, Nolan Mueller, Landon Scullett, Leah Henley, Hila McNeil, and Jasmine Schuler. So they were inducted last night, and my thanks to our current members, which consist of Caitlin Bibador, Trista Hins, Laura Lawston, and Megan Oyen for inducting them into the National Honor Society. And a note of congratulations to our FFA judging team. They competed last Friday, in an event at Wisconsin, UW-Wisconsin Platteville, and the livestock team placed fourth, and they will advance to the state competition coming up in April. And the members of that team were Hans Lynn, John Lumen, Alyssa Nestler, Jen Lenz, and Tristan Hagelin. So congratulations to them. And then just a note of appreciation and thanks to the Foundation for Westford-Peterson Schools. They hosted the Bluff-Glen Tri on Saturday. They had a great turnout. They've been working at this event for several years now, and very pleased with the turnout that they had. And the Fall Feast was also held Saturday evening and part of the foundation as well. And so my thanks to them for hosting that event. Special thanks to Judy Christian and her staff at Stumpy's for providing a delicious meal. And then we had some of our own students provide entertainment. They were Emily Didier, Christina Scave, Chloe Bunky, Taylor Johnson, and then Sonia Cook provided the accompaniment. So a big thank you to Sally Ryman and all the members of the foundation board that assisted with those events. A very positive event-filled day for us on Saturday. Also, a note of congratulations. I'll go to page 24 now. Students and staff for a very successful homecoming week. Again, my thanks to both the middle school, high school student councils, our staff, Mr. Tim for assisting with that. My congratulations to our fall sports teams. Our teams have done very well through the regular season. I commend everyone for the time and effort that they put it forth to ensure a very successful season. And of course, we will be entering into the second season here very soon. So again, we wish them nothing but the best of luck as they continue. FFA members, congratulations again to the FFA livestock team. Number one, they won the Miller Invitational, and that was held in September. And again, individual honors. First overall was Hans Lynn. Fourth overall was Jens Lynn, and Giselle Calhoun came in 10th overall. Note of condolences and sympathies to the Pelzel family on the death of their grandmother. I provided that information and extended our condolences and sympathies on behalf of the Board of Education. On page 25, update and progress on the athletic fields. The damp and wet conditions have provided some steady growth of the grass, and so we're very fortunate that Winona Nursery completed the seeding in time to take advantage of the rains, and we're wrapping up the well drilling, and that should be finished here very, very soon, within the next couple of days. So I'm very appreciative for their efforts to complete this project before winter sets in on us. The crosswalk on Highway 43, I hope you've noticed that the lights are now in and they are operational. We're waiting for MnDOT to complete the painting and the marking on the roadway. So again, extend my thanks and appreciation to the city of Rushford and MnDOT for getting things in place and assisting us with providing a safe crossing on Highway 43. The building sites, we'll be discussing that later on this evening, and so I've given you some information. Last Tuesday, we hosted the HVAD regional meeting. That was held here in our forum room. Valerie Howe attended this meeting with me. The meeting centered around the selection of a firm to assist HVAD and the 13 member school districts that make up HVAD to come up with a plan to address the facilities needs for HVAD. And so it was a very positive and productive day, but we need to make our citizens aware that HVAD is an active member of our school district, not only in our school, but the other districts as well. And they have facilities needs just like any school district may, and so they will be forthcoming with some proposals on how to best meet their needs, not only their needs, but the needs of the students that they serve. So, Val, anything you wish to add?
No, it's, like he said, we have facility needs and, HVAC keeps growing. So we need more room and,
And right now, it's difficult because of just the geographic locations that we have within our member districts. We have an ALC that's located in Kellogg, and then there are facilities located in Caledonia. So we have the full range of gamuts of the districts that are served by HVED, and obviously for the districts here in the southern part of the HVED district, the ALC does not, the location of the ALC at Kellogg does not allow for districts on this end of the HVED district to take advantage of that. So that's a challenge for them. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with in those proposals. On the operating referendum on page 26, we did host an informational meeting on Monday, October 1st. We are working on the mailings. Lisa informed me this afternoon that the mailings have been completed and we're ready to go ahead and get those sent out. My thanks to Barbie Doyle of Ehlers Financial Services, Lisa Lawson, Laura Hahn, and Ben Bernard of St. Charles for their help with the PowerPoint, the brochure, and the mailings that are going to be taking place. We are the recipients of a new kiosk, and it's located out here in our lobby area, so I invite you after the meeting tonight to go out and take a look at that, and there will also be one placed at Naquit Field as well. So it's been a positive thing working with the city and the Chamber of Commerce. A special note of thanks to Jen Hengel for her efforts to make sure that the new kiosks reflect all of the areas, including the area around Peterson as well. So, on that note, I'd entertain any questions you have in regards to my report.
Would it be appropriate to mention the fundraiser, elementary fundraiser that's for PI?
Okay, sure. Joyce has brought it to my attention this afternoon that part of the fundraiser that we have worked with PI over the last several years, on their mailing, I was not aware of this, and I know Mrs. Olsted Shepherd was not aware of the cover that they had on the packet of information that went out, but it said that the fundraiser was being conducted to replace technology equipment, which is not an accurate statement. So we will send out a correction to that in an email tomorrow to our parents. So appreciate you bringing that to my attention, Joyce.
Any other questions for Mr. Taylor? Thank you. Moving on to community ed. Ms. Flossman, what have you got for us?
On my report, I have listed all of our fall activities. Youth dance, we had 73 participants this fall for a fall season. Strength and technique, 8. Little Rockers, like I said, last month was really well attended with 39, and they did get to do 2 performances, so the girls were very excited. ATV certification goes strong with 9 that participated that Saturday. Flag football also had 60 that participated, which is up compared to last year by 10. Youth tackle football, 24. Junior spikers, 46, which is up again from last year. Mat Club and the non-traveling basketball information will be going out this next couple of weeks, and the sign-ups will be in November. This year, the non-traveling basketball, they're going to do it on Monday evenings versus on Saturday mornings, which will work out nice for our schedule in the gym. So, and it works out well with the coaches. Our adult enrichment, we do have a lot going on there. You can take a look at those numbers on what we have to offer. 55 driving still continues to remain strong. We have 17 that participated this last October. We are getting a couple art classes up and running too with Sam and using our new pottery wheels and different things like that for our community members. So that's new, so hopefully it'll start taking off here. Adult recreation, we had a new instructor this year too, Sarah Ventura. She came and we had really good reviews about her.
instructing and with 12 participants for that bar class, and then adult open gym will start in December. Another thing, I'm working with a couple teachers and utilizing a really nice fitness center is offering a fitness boot camp. Other school districts do it, and it's a really great program. It's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the morning, and then one of our teachers wants to offer it in the afternoon as well for maybe some staff or some other people that can come in a little bit earlier, but during the evening. So it's a great opportunity to utilize our fitness center. So Kids Club goes strong. Your numbers are still strong in the morning, and in the evening we welcome back Abby Hay to our Kids Club staff, and Lauren joined us as well, and Kirsten Lynn. So, and Bailey Thompson is a new hire for us. And then we'll participate in the Lights On After School. That's an annual activity we do. And then preschool is going very well. We do want to say a special thank you to Johnson Riley Acres. They do a wonderful donation for the milk. They provide milk for all of our preschool students and our families throughout the year. So that's a $1,400 donation. And then the fire department was here on October 4th and gave tours of fire trucks, which is always a popular hit for the kids. ECFE started also in September. We had 13 children that started up right away on Friday morning, so really well attended. And then Monday evening classes are still a little bit lower attendance, but we're taking a look at what we can do to help bring our families in, either offer a different night or earlier time, or just getting some feedback from our community. Early childhood screening will be held on Friday, November 2nd from 8 to 3, and I believe we already have 23 students signed up, so that'll be a very busy day. This year we're going to have it here at our school. We want to bring our families into our school district and utilize our space, and the kids will get pretty excited about that. So we're excited. And then we had our advisory council meeting last week, and that was really well attended for one, and it was a really great input. I really valued my members that come, and they give me a lot of feedback from what they hear and what they see, and what our community members would really like. So it was really a great meeting. Thank you.
Questions for Ms. Lawson?
I have a quick question. That non-travel basketball, that's not the same thing as the tournaments that went on last year that was outside community. Has there been talk about that yet? My understanding was last year it was sort of a trial thing.
It's not through me, so I'm not sure. I haven't seen any paperwork yet on that.
Yes, they have put in for dates, and we will facilitate approving those in the very near future.
I had heard some comments, various comments in the community, just that they were wondering, if that could possibly be under community ed since it's at the school, if that could be revisited. I don't know if this is the time to look at that, but
I haven't been
I was
approached.
hoping that we would get a chance to look at it and not just move ahead without kind of examining how things went.
I mean, if they come to me and ask me, I'm always open to talking about what we can do to offer.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Ms. Lawson. We've got our elementary report.
Okay.
You want to do that?
Yes, they do.
Ms. Shepherd?
So our Trojan Pride cart that goes outside, we have a variety of staff signing up to take the cart out and announce the students who have randomly gotten the Trojan Gold tickets pulled, and you saw the list, there's a lot of them, and they get excited, they have new cart options and that. But this year our Trojan Pride table has changed. It's changed to Above and Beyond. And these are the teachers, grade level teachers are picking the students who earn the right to sit at our Trojan Pride table. We just finished one last week. Those high tops out here are covered and decorated beautifully, and name tags, and whoever gets chosen gets to pick a different friend 4 days. Tuesday through Friday we have it up, and they all did. They all picked four different friends, and it was just a really nice. The kids are excited and they're happy for their friends, and allowing the staff to have a little more input into Above and Beyond. And then I call these families as well, and a lot of them I leave a message, but the ones I do reach are awfully excited again to get a positive call. Our Nanotechnology Day was new this year for 5th grade. here again, the people who came, the Winona State people, the local people, Joyce was there. They just used the Common Bee, and each of the round tables had a different experiment on it. And the Winona State students too, obviously this is the area they're going into. We're just excited to show all the students all these different activities, and Joyce looked very happy the whole time too. And it was just fun to see. Each fifth grade class had about 30 minutes, and they have 12 different places. They just said rotate, and then they moved around, but a lot of nice, fun, different experiments, and many of them you could, do at home too, so it was just positive. Fire trucks came for early childhood, and for the elementary, we had a firefighter go, 2 of them go class to class, just promoting the posters, and those will be completed yet this week now. Good Shepherd, always a great cause for the 4th grade to go and read and see them. Their first trip there was just introducing, they'll get their grandparents later, the next trip through. So our safety patrol, a lot of students again signed up for that, which is a nice experience for them. Mr. Tyre is leading the 5th grade safety patrol this year, which was great for him to offer and step in at RP, and he has a lot. Our big parent-teacher conferences for elementary is always huge. We are using the PTC Fast again. Thank you to Dan for setting it up. We are ready to go on Wednesday. We'll make it live. Keela comes back on Wednesday now, and our letters are ready and to go, and we'll send it out to our parents so they can sign up. 5th grade, because it's 67 students, we are going to have the homeroom teachers being the conference for them, and I'll be sending out a letter to 5th grade tomorrow for parents, and then the other 2 teachers are going to write a little note so they can have that conversation, and if they need to see the other 2 or talk to them, we'll encourage them to do it another time other than conference time, because there are so many students. And the Friday flyers are going strong. The big one for me is translating into Spanish, because Spanish is not my second language. It's just, I Google Translate. But the response from our families who do receive Google Translate to Spanish, love it. So, very positive.
Questions for Mrs. Shepherd? Thank you. What are you doing, Mr. Timms?
I will be. It's on page 30 of your packet. Mr. Tim has a conflict this evening here. He's not able to be in attendance. We wanted to share with you that we have a number of things going on for our high school students. First one was the Mayo Career Fair that took place last week. We had students that went to get a better understanding of the Mayo healthcare system, and well received by our students. Our junior class took a tour last Friday to Winona State, St. Mary's, and Minnesota State Southeast, and it's always good to get our students out on campus, give them the opportunity to see what these higher education opportunities that the students can explore. And then our sophomore class will be attending their Career Expo in Winona coming up on Friday, November 16th. And so Mrs. Helgemel has been working on our annual Fall Career Speaker Day. We have individuals from various careers coming into our high school to talk about their careers, the local careers here, give our students a better understanding about those careers, and just about the various businesses that are within our own community. Our middle school staff is working with their students. This year the goal is to have the students to complete their homework on a timely manner, giving students opportunities to provide them with enrichment activities if they're successful in reaching their goals. And so far, that has been a great way to provide an incentive for our students to complete their homework. And then he is outlining the National Honor Society. There's a list of the names there. And on page 31, the Professional Learning Committees are meeting again on a weekly basis, and some of the questions that we're seeking and following up 4 essential questions. What do we expect our students to learn? How do we know they are learning it? How will we respond when they don't learn? And then item number 4 is how will we respond if they already know it? Again, he's emphasizing, as I did, the homecoming week, and his thanks to Mrs. Matheson and Mrs. Bergen and the middle school and high school student councils. And he listed the homecoming royalty there and some of the other highlights for that. That is Mr. Tim's report.
Do you have any questions about the high school, middle school report?
I do have one, and I wish he was here. As I read through this new program, I think it was called Enrichment Day,
The middle school one?
on Friday, October 12th, yes.
Yeah.
I don't consider dodgeball, watching movies, playing board games, and going on hikes as enrichment. So I would like to see this, if it's going to be this for kids to make up, and the other ones to be enriched, that they actually are going to an enrichment situation. I would assume that we have the majority of the teachers available to supply enrichment that day. I don't think it would be that much supervision for the few that are catching our kids up. But, there's going to be enrichment day. I certainly expect enrichment to be something more than just equal fun or whatever dodgeball and watching movies is. So I'd like to see that happen. Take another look at it and get a little more education enrichment into that day.
Or else call it fun day.
Or call it fun day, and I don't know what we do with the staff during the fun day, but whatever.
I like what you said about where they picked up litter, maybe do some public service, that part.
That's enrichment.
I will be sure to pass that on to him. Thank you for sharing your concern with that.
Any other comments on the middle high school report? Okay, the activity director.
Yep, this week wraps up our regular seasons for cross-country, for football as well as for volleyball. Tomorrow we've got our conference. We're hosting the conference cross-country meet, which is with our co-op with Lewis and Altura. So that'll wrap up the regular season from the cross-country standpoint. It's going at 4 o'clock for the girls tomorrow and 4:45 for the boys. Tomorrow night is also our senior night for our volleyball team. It's their last home game of the regular season. We're hosting kind of two different teams. Our junior high is playing Maple Canton, and then our high school teams are playing Southland. And then the regular season for football wraps up on Wednesday on a road trip to Blooming Prairie. Looks to be a very competitive game that we'll be playing over there. And then that brings us into, as Mr. Ayler alluded to, the second season, which is our postseason for all of these different activities, and that's kind of what's highlighted in my report. Cross country will be hosting or will be competing in the October 25th section meet at Northern Hills. Volleyball seeding will take place on Wednesday. Currently, it's looking like we might get a 6, 7, or 8 seed, which means we would host on the first round of volleyball playoffs, which would be a week from today. And then be on the road with a successful win then on the following Thursday. Football, depending on the outcome of Wednesday's game, seeding will take place on Thursday. We could be anywhere a 1, 2, or a 3 seed. That puts us playing at home on the 23rd, which is a week from tomorrow. And then if we're a 1 or a 2, also hosting the following Saturday, the 27th. That's what we're hoping for. And then the fall play, I know that was noted in Mr. Tim's report as well. Cast and crew has been very busy preparing for their upcoming performances on November 8th, 9th, and 10th. So we're looking forward to that at Willy Wonka, that they're performing there. Also want to take the opportunity, as I do kind of once a year, to thank all of our additional workers that help make all of our activities possible. If you add up all of those, including the ambulance crew and whatnot, we're at between 45 and 50 different individuals that all contribute towards these, and a lot of them are obviously doing it behind the scenes. Some of them are a little more out in front when they're line judging at volleyball, for example, or out blowing whistles at our football games, but can't do it without these people, so I wanted to include all of them. I won't read all their names, but obviously you can see the long list of people we've got there, and my sincere gratitude towards them. Last part of mine is just kind of showing what's coming up here. We've got winter dance starting next week, so as that snow kind of indicated, winter is not too far away. We've got winter dance starting on the 22nd, girls basketball on the 12th, boys basketball and wrestling on the 19th, and then one act play following right up at the end of the month. So that kind of concludes the formal part of the report, and then I guess I would entertain any questions on that, and then I would be happy to discuss the additional thing that I had on there in terms of potential co-op for our golf program, so.
Any questions, Mr. Beardorf, on the activities report? Okay, why don't you go ahead and fill us in on what you're thinking there?
Sure. As far as the golf, I was approached by Dick Montgomery, the AD at Lewiston Altura, regarding the situation that they're facing in Lewiston. It stems directly from the financial situation of their golf course, and they've been actively trying to sell, and my understanding is if they don't sell, they're prepared to close, and Lewiston Altura is going forward with the idea of what do they do if they have no golf course. They're kind of faced with two different options. One is to simply play next season away, don't host any, but then also they have no practice site, so they wouldn't have no golf course to truly practice on. The second option, which is what Dick and I met with last week to discuss, is the idea of forming a co-op similar to what we do with our wrestling. We're in a co-op with them, and similar to what we do with our cross-country. Only a little different is we would be the host school. Currently it's LARP cross-country and LARP wrestling. Lewiston is the host. We would be the host in this situation. But our feelings was that could definitely be taking advantage of our existing relationship and could be something that could work out exceptionally well for both of our schools. Lewiston's numbers in terms of golf, last year they had 9 boys and 2 girls competing. We had 7 boys and 2 girls. For those not familiar with golf, a competitive team, you'd have on a varsity boys team, you'd have 6 golfers compete, they take the 4 best scores. And then the same thing for the girls varsity, and then you have the ability to also compete as the JV of boys or girls as well. The way we're projecting for numbers next year, Lewiston is projected to have 7 to 8 boys, 5 to 6 girls. Ours, depending on how many younger kids we get out, could be even lower than that. So we would envision this as being a win-win in terms of, listing the pros would be, obviously we could compete as a full team for boys, a full team for girls, and then still have that additional team of the JV/junior high. We could share entry fees for the different tournaments that we compete in. We could share transportation costs for going to the different meets. And then also what Lewiston has to bring to the table as well as indoor practice facility options. They actually have 2 golf simulators as well as an indoor putting green that they have access to there. So if we have a spring like we did this last year, our kids were putting on carpet and hitting into nets. This would be definitely a way of taking advantage of that. What's the win-win for, or another pro for Lewiston, of course, is they're able to partner with us, come down, practice on an actual course, as well as then co-host different meets. Trying to think of what else we might have for questions. No additional cost to RP if we were to do this. In terms of that, we would envision some cost savings from the transportation and entry fee side of it. The one con that Dick and I are very well aware of, and I've met with our golf coaches on, is it would push us for the postseason from being a single A school to being a double A school. So that would mean from our team potential of moving on from subsection to section to state, as well as individual-wise. We would be competing against a different group of schools and a different group of individuals. In talking with our coaches as well as with Dick, they're a double A school alone anyway, but from our standpoint, the advantages of what that can mean in growing our program, throughout the regular season, the interest, the success we could have, would far outweigh that negative of moving to a double A or a higher category. So at this point, not bringing anything to you formally, just wanted to bring the idea. Dick is going to do the same at Lewiston. If this is something that you would be supportive of, and if this makes sense, we would then proceed to the next step, which would then be bring this to a future board meeting to ask for your formal approval. Then we do the paperwork with the State High School League, and truly formulate the co-op. But it would be modeled after what we've currently got in a relationship with them for cross-country and wrestling.
How does the coaching situation work out?
What we envision, this is talking with Dick, and of course nothing in stone yet. They have had a head coach and an assistant coach, so they had 2 coaches and we have 2 coaches. We would envision moving forward to be 3 coaches. So 2 coaches from us and 1 from them. We did not get into the formal discussion of having one named as a varsity boys, another named as a varsity girls, and another named as an assistant, assistant varsity / junior high. But that would be one of the avenues we could go with. But yet to be determined, I guess, in this
I
point.
think there's some real merit for us to explore those options, because again, it comes down to numbers and to facilitate the utilization of both schools involved in that process. I think it would be advantageous for our PEM and Williston Outdoor as well.
Do we have any thoughts or direction you want to give to Mr. Bueller?
I think it certainly makes sense. I have a question. What's our current arrangement with Ferndale as far as use of the course?
It's a great question. As of now, or up until this point, we have not been charged a fee for the use of their facility. It's been a great relationship dating back to, I think I know the 90s when I was a member of the team as well. The team would go out and kind of perform service, a cleanup day, and in lieu of that, the course would allow them being the high school golfers, to golf on the course throughout originally it was throughout just the golf season, just through the high school season. Now I know they've extended that in the past year, and what it currently is allowing our golfers, our youth that are members of our golf team, to golf throughout the summer, kind of to obviously become more developed golfers, encouraging them to come out on the course. But as a district, we do not pay the course for the use of the course at this point.
Well, I can't see that would be a problem with incorporating another school. In fact, it would be a win for Ferndale also to possibly get more Lewiston for our golfers, adults also.
Yeah, where the kids go, the parents can go, and it could be a win-win that way, yes. So I guess with just kind of a verbal approval, I guess then what I would look to do is then bring this to you at the next board meeting, or as quick as Dick and I can get the paperwork to both boards for future approval in a formal sense.
I don't think it would be a bad idea for you to approach the Ferndale board at some point too.
Great point.
They're really running the course right now.
I think the consensus is keep pursuing it and see what we come up with, and let us know how it goes.
Okay, will do, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I guess at this point, we will be need a motion to go to the closed session to discuss a couple of real estate issues. Okay, thank you. For a second?
How?
Second by House.